Hello, so about 3 weeks ago I posted this video of me flying around St. Bart's at 4K low settings. And as you can see, I was getting about 1620 frames per second, which is playable, but it's very low. Anyway, since then, the patch 2, I don't know, I guess they're calling them patch 1, patch 2. Patch 2 came out, and I haven't seen people discuss this. But I'm now getting about 28 frames per second in St. Bart's at the same settings at 4K. Looking at about a 50% improvement at low specs with the new patch, which I think the reason people Flight Simulator players, Let's players aren't discussing it is because a lot of people who post flight sim videos online are playing on high-end rigs, and they're not playing it at low settings. But as you can see here, if you're someone who plays at low settings, you're probably going to get some very good improvements in frame rate. I mean, this is completely playable. This is very smooth, and you can see the benefits of 4K in that resolution. Now, the other thing that you can do with the extra performance is you can bump up the settings. As you can see here, I bumped up from low settings to high end, and there is a pretty significant increase in ground quality. The water looks better, the ships look better. But it's at high end. It's playing at high end settings with the same frame rate I used to get at low. By the way, and this is just it. This is at 4K. I don't usually play at 4K, but with the new patch, you can probably get away with bumping up some settings and getting a little bit better graphics quality. Meanwhile, going to San Francisco, which has a lot more going on graphically, on my 1060, yeah, 1060. My 1060 at high end, I'm getting about 11 frames per second, 12, which probably isn't playable. Well, I mean, you can play like this if you want, but it's not very enjoyable. But I mean, you can see the Golden Gate Bridge looks very good. You can see the water. This ship looks a lot better at high-end settings. There's a little bit of aliasing, I think, with the water. Meanwhile, switching to 1080p, which is where I'm usually the resolution I usually play at high-end settings, solid 30 frames per second at with the 1060. Usually, it's a solid 30. There's very little stutter. I mean, you can see some spikes in that, but like the bridge looks great. Water looks great. Ships look great. The little cliffs there on the mountain, all fantastic. See, up to 31, 30, blah blah. See the grass, trees. You can see the lattice work on the bridge. All very good. And you see the plane maneuvers perfectly. Meanwhile, if you're one of those guys who plays at 1440p, you can see here bumped the resolution up to 1440p. It still went down from 31 to 28, which is still completely playable, but you get the benefit of a little bit of extra resolution. But this is still at high-end settings with, well, 1060 used to be a mid-range card. I guess now it's a low-end card. Anyways, you can still see perfect, solid 29 frames per second. Very little stutter, even though coming up on the city here, there's a lot of buildings that have to load in and stuff. Now I see now that we get closer to the city, it's dropping to 20. 20, I mean, you can still play at 20, it's still fine. 19, 23, 25, okay, see, going back up as it loads in. Also, notice the GPU memory, it's at 4.4 gigabytes, which is fine. 8 megabytes of RAM, quite a lot actually. You probably don't need 32 gigabytes of RAM for playing this game at low settings. There you're coming up on downtown, dropping to 16, 15, 20. As long as you don't go into city centers, you're fine. Anyways, new patch, huge improvement.